Good day wherever you are. Some places I know it's good night. I'm Shirvington Hannays, your counselor on call because your mental health matters. Yes, this is going to be our new show, and we're kind of like somewhere in studio. Um, we still, or I am still getting the sound stage, my living room, together for the various shows that we're doing, I'm doing for the SMAHOO TV. So we've settled on the name. It's going to be SMAHOO TV, but it's the mental wellness shows going to be on SMAHOO TV. I've decided to have a clear, distinct channel for relapse rescue, how to rescue yourself from a relapse. I have to streamline things. I don't want to confuse things. But for today, I'm just speaking. I know I have to be in studio to do a live recording, and I can't remember exactly which one of the programs we were recording. So there we go. The doc, the counselor on call because your mental health matters. I'm Shirvington Hannays. And no, it's not a doctor on call. I'm not a doctor. I have no desire or interest in becoming a doctor, to be a psychiatrist. Um, I'm still kind of playing with the whole psychologist thing, to have my designation as a psychologist. I'm pretty cool with just remaining counselor therapist. I have my designation as a telehealth professional and for mental health. So I'm cool with that. I think I've arrived now safely at a place where I'm thinking like a scientist because I got the notification uh, that Maya Angelou was on the quarter in the US, and I immediately got excited and I felt proud and overjoyed, and I went ahead and I forwarded. And then suddenly the scientist in me said, wait a second, did you verify that the source to confirm that that is true? And then I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, all these people are liking this stuff. I hope it is true. So I quickly went back and I went to Time magazine and I went to Indian Time and about three other sources that in my mind are credible sources. There you go. Often, 95% of whatever I come here and I discuss, I verify the source. It's one thing to have an opinion, and on the show, this I believe to be true. We're going to exploring a series of things. The first season is actually going to be on things that people think is true that are not. So that we're going to be doing on this I believe to be true. And that is the title for my book that was published and is available on Amazon and doing pretty good for itself, um, at least in my books. I've got like a colleague said, I've got my royalty check. Well, I've got a couple. Um, this I believe to be true. Love and acceptance of self. Soul foods for the soul. The hard copy is being updated. This is available in ebook form at the moment, but the hard copy is being updated to be this I believe to be true. Love and acceptance of self, key to mental health wellness. So, in this, on Counsel on Call, because your mental health matters, the first thing we're going to take a quick look at is the first chapter, which is self assessment and reflection on where you're at right now. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Where are you at right now? Oftentimes when we say, how are you feeling? We hear good. Well, in counseling, when a person say good, I and most other clinicians and practitioners that I know will ask, what do you mean by that? Because good is not a feeling. Good is actually a common everyday response, auto response that we give when we want to shoot a person away or just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about that. That's what good is. It has nothing to do with a feeling. Are you sad? Are you irritated? Are you annoyed? Are you frustrated? Are you angry? Ooh, is there some hostility coming from you? Rage? Good is not a feeling. Saying good oftentimes is a dismissive response or an auto response. But good, what does good mean? Think about it. So, if we're going to be using my book, This I Believe to Be True, Love and Acceptance of Self, a key to mental health wellness, the book is divided in such a way for 7 days of work on yourself, 7 days of reflection, see where you're at, where your mental health functioning. So I've got some goodies for you as we set the stage, whether for any of the shows across all the shows that we're doing here for SMAHOO TV, the mental health wellness shows. We're talking about mental health. And let's be clear, absolutely clear. I did not say mental illness. I'm going to tell you, most people talk about there is no physical health without mental health. Well, let me tell you how important that statement is. And I have some stuff here from the World Health Organization on promoting mental health, concepts, emerging evidence, and practice, the World Health Organization. But I want to go to, and this is my reference, I take no credit for this information and the research done, but the World Health Organization says there is no health without mental health. Why does the World Health Organization say this? The World Health Organization say this because this is what is the fact. And by now you should know it, that I keep it simple. I don't get into all the lofty kind of thing about mental health. I'm going to keep it simple, but I go right back to the basis and the basics. What is mental? Where is this mental health? Is it like the heartbeat and the pumping of the blood through the heart? So we have a rhythm to the heart. What is it? I'm beginning to give you a hint that what is mental is activity of the mind. And what is the mind? Well, let's put this to rest right now. The mind is not a region somewhere in the brain. No. Aha. That was the aha moment I had when I did the course of study entitled Mind, Brain, Behavior, and discovered that the mind is the function of the brain. Heartbeat of the heart is the function. But let me say to you the reason why the World Health Organization put forward, and people usually say, there is no physical health without mental health. Take a breath. relax. The brain has an extension to it. Why this becomes interesting. The spinal cord, directly attached to the brain, is an extension of the brain, and it constitutes one of the most important components that binds mental and physical, the central nervous system. Yeah, that was my shock. Are we then saying that the mind is not only located within the head, within the brain, and is the activity within the brain? We're saying that that which is the mind runs throughout the body. You got it. You see, let's make this simple, and I'm keeping this simple. But believe me, it is so fundamental and clinical to what is mental health and the importance of it. And that's why we have so much distress, stress, response that it isn't appropriate and to the magnitude and the requirement to keep homeostasis in the body, and people are distressed and in crisis because there is a total disregard for something that is fundamental. You cannot lift a weight in the gym without your mental health capacity functioning on all cylinders in balance for you to keep balance. Here's what it is. You go to the doctor and he wants to check something. He knocks on your knee because there is a neuron, a cell, neuron specifically to the brain, but the axon, the tail end of the cell, runs all the way from the brain down to the knee, all the way through the spinal cord. Now, if your central nervous system that controls and works along with the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system for you to have any sort of functioning, speaking right now, you're hearing me, that has to become activity of the brain for you to have a perception of that stimulus, which originates from an action potential, which is biochemical action, no words, none whatsoever. Cut open your brain right now. No words. Just like the concept of the computer of impulses, that's all that is happening in the brain. All these things we give to our mental capacity and our cognitive whatever, guess what? Made up individually by you. Yes. It's not like we all got the same. No. Individually. We have the brain, yes. And over time, it evolves, change form, and gets bigger as we develop from childhood into adulthood. And by 25, 30, we have an adult-sized brain. And the reason why around teenage years, regardless of what culture you're in, across the globe, around the teens and the mid-teens and late teens, kids tend to be impulsive and compulsive. Now, you see where this is going? Remember, I talked about in the recovery show and how to rescue yourself from a relapse, that addictions ultimately leads to impulsivity, compulsivity, and loss of control with one's ability to adaptively respond to delay gratification, ultimately leads to dependency and loss of control. And that's when you're set to have an addiction or a substance use disorder. But hold a second. I just said that tends to be out of control, late teens, thereabout, because the brain is developing rapidly during that time, especially in the area of the prefrontal cortex. Getting bigger, the biggest part to our brain that differentiates us from other mammals and different species with a brain, that's what makes us human. Our cortex in our triune brain, three-part brain, that's the biggest part that gives us the capacity to have this cognitive ability. Good. In context, back to what I'm talking about. So I started this by saying the mind is not a region somewhere in the brain, somewhere in your mind. See, finger, yeah, we always do that in our minds. No, my wake up call was that no, mind is the function, the activity within the brain. Heartbeat, function, activity, pumping, the blood, and all of that in the heart, mind, activity. And I said to you that extension of the brain, an integral extension, is the spinal cord, and that which constitutes the central nervous system that controls everything for everything. The adrenaline rush that you get, oops, sorry, sound. The adrenaline rush that you get when the sympathetic nervous system rushes in because there is a fight, flight, or freeze moment is taken care of by the central nervous system in response to whatever stimulus the body is getting that will be perceived, perception, process, and then we, based on memory, in the networks, patterns, and pathways of the brain, conjures up cognition and label things according to past experiences, and the labeling that we put to things that is saved, reinforced as memory. All very simple. Might for some people seem complex, but no, very simple. We're constantly making up everything. And when we have degenerative dementia, is our capacity to recreate that, and hence, quote unquote, the loss of a specific memory. Breathe. The reason why I'm insisting that we get this right, so that we come into an understanding the importance of our mental health and why it matters. This is in spite of any illness. And I keep saying central nervous system, of which the brain and the spinal cord is the physical elements that makes up that, along with cells that is put together in an amazing way, the way we evolve over time. And I was reading something that says, why was it our species that jumped that little whatever and got to the place where we can do such powerful cognitive processing as against all the other species? What was it about us? It's the thing that people don't like to talk about. Evolution. Okay, before you come at me and before I get emails, stop. Not going to get into the discussion, creation or evolution. Because guess what? I'm going to simplify it. It's both. And I'm going to break it down very nicely for you. Each and every one of us better be thankful for evolution. Because after the conception of us, if that thing did not evolve, you and I would not be here. So stop. Creation, an integral part of it. So that's the reason why I say both. Is evolution, the constant changing of form over time. After you were even born, you better be thankful you evolved. Because you're still creating after you're born. You're evolving. I hope that puts something on your plate to ponder on for the rest of the week, because this and that I believe to be true. Namaste. I'm Shirvington Hannays, and this was all the shows together as one. The recovery show, how to rescue yourself from a relapse. Well, the mental part of it, the importance of that, and explore that some more. Counsel on call because your mental health matters. Most of all, this I believe to be true. See you next time. For now, any more information can be had at www.changeclinic.org. Bye for now.